What's going on? What's going on, world? Thinking outside the box, village conversations. Thank you for tuning in, 3 o'clock every Thursday. So, I got to have some special guests with me, and I'm going to introduce this lady in a few minutes. But I just want to say thank you again for everybody who has viewed my videos, shared it, viewed it, gave me some feedback. It has been an awesome ride so far. Again, thanks to the Glockaware family. Thank you to Toucan for giving me this platform. Thank you to Rosie for giving me the courage to come on here and do this thing. And I hope that I'm giving you people what you're tuning in for, right? I hope that I'm giving you what you're expecting and maybe a little more than that. I always like to set the intention and set the tone for this conversation. So let's soften our gaze and allow our eyes to come to a gentle close. Focus on your breath as you breathe in, slow and controlled through the nostrils with intention. Exhale, cleanse, and release with purpose. Remove all clutter from your mind as we come into this discussion with an open mind and a pure heart. Unbiased and respectful. Slowly bring the mind and body back into awareness. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. People, let's get into it, okay? Listen, so I like to bring my villagers, and what is a village without your mother? What is a village without your mom? So I had to bring the queen in today. Okay, I don't know what she wants to go by. If she wants to go by Naj or if she wants to go by Renee. I don't know. But most of you, if you know me, you know her. I'm her clone. We're like ebony and ivory. People don't believe that my mom is a dark-skinned lady. They think I'm Puerto Rican. I'm not. I don't know where this hair came from, but I belong to this chocolate lady right here. And I just want to introduce you, Mom. So get into the mic. You got to talk into this good mic here.
Into the mic. Am I in it?
You almost lean into it.
Yes.
Now
yes.
I can hear you.
Oh,
Beautiful.
Wow. Okay, cool.
Look at you.
Nice.
Say hey to the world. Say hey to my villagers.
Hey, world. Hey, villagers. It's Chanel's mom. Renee, a.k.a. Najla.
Yes,
What's going on?
Mom, you've been watching some of my episodes, and I kind of go all around the world and I talk about all different things, but it's all centered around mindfulness, wellness, all that good stuff, right? So, what are some of the things that you feel passionate about, that you want to discuss on this platform, that you want to maybe give some people who are in your generation and, whatever. What do you want to talk about?
I'm speaking to all generations.
Okay.
I'm speaking to the young people, the middle-aged people, the old people, and for those of us who may have died from the disease of addiction, because I'm a person that lives with the disease of addiction. Back in the 80s, I was introduced to, back then it wasn't crack. We were really smoking cocaine, and I was hanging out with some people who, that was what they did, I hate to think that I'm a follower because now I'm not, but what they were doing looked good at the time, and I just wanted to try it. Pretty much the people that I was hanging out with was like, nah, you don't want to do this. You don't want to do this. And I was like, I want to try it,
That peer pressure.
I'm curious. It wasn't even no pressure because they didn't want me to try it. They knew it was not for me.
Right.
Like I was a good girl coming up, went to school, got good grades. I was into fashion, so I was into sewing and doing my own thing. I didn't hang out with people. I did my own thing, But this thing was going around back in the 80s, and it was sweeping people off their feet.
Indeed
man.
it was. Indeed it was.
Sweeping them off their feet. And I finally got a hold of it, and that's when they were smoking pure cocaine, not this junk they got on the street now. Hey, people, I'm telling you.
My mom would always say, man, they don't even know how to get high. They don't get high, right?
Listen,
like, who
what
says
you
that?
smoking now is junk. Just, you know what I mean? Ain't none of it no good. But like back then, it was pure. It was real, and it was still not good for the human body. It wasn't good for the mind.
Right.
It wasn't good for your positive energy. It turned you into somebody else. You know,
What do you think contributed to you even going down that path, right? Because you said you were a good girl, you
yes,
modeled, you were into all these things, and the path was looking very bright for you. You were in the newspaper back, So
I blame no one,
okay,
but I was hanging out with a man.
mm.
He sold it, he smoked it, and he didn't get strung out like me. Like, it was so weird because it was like he knew what he was doing. So
Mm.
he could smoke it, put it down, walk away, do what he had to do, keep selling it and all this old good stuff. So it looked good to me.
Right.
But unbeknownst to me, I had a gene inside my spirit,
Mm.
inside my body that was called addiction.
Mm-hmm.
And that thing woke up the disease inside of me, and off to the races I went.
Okay.
Like, I've never been a follower, but
Mm.
it wasn't even the person I was following. It was the thing.
Wow.
The thing. Ooh, listen, people,
Talk to the people.
I'm grateful. I'm grateful today. I got introduced to that stuff back in the 80s.
Mm.
I messed around and got clean in the 90s. Stayed clean from all drugs,
Mm-hmm.
alcohol, marijuana, that cocaine I was smoking, and then it turned into crack. And I got clean from all that stuff. I stayed clean for 10 years.
10 years.
Messed around and decided that, like, I just wanted to try it one more time.
What, you didn't believe? You didn't believe it? You didn't believe the effects
Listen.
of it from the first time?
Listen, I don't know that I didn't believe it. I think I forgot.
Amnesia.
I forgot where it took me, right?
Okay.
So I said, let me see what's going on now. And I picked it up again.
Mm-hmm.
And sure enough, off to the races I went again. Like, it's just the most ugly thing.
Yeah.
I was ugly. Listen, today I'm fabulous. I'm gorgeous. Like, I'm 66 years old, about to be 67.
67.
Who knew?
That's what I got to look forward to looking like.
Who knew? Listen,
Won't he do it?
God has been good to me.
Amen.
Because I know people who had the same experiences. I was sharing it with my little granddaughter the other day. They got the same stories like me, but they don't look like your girl. I'm just saying. I've been
Don't you be looking
blessed.
at people like we the same age? How?
I have been so blessed that I was able to come up out of the grips of addiction.
Talk about it. I mean, I still want to ride you down. What's that, Kensington?
Oh, listen.
I want to ride you down.
Been down there.
Have you been, like, it's like a safari.
Somebody took me down there when I first got back.
It's like a crackhead safari.
I just moved. I had to leave Philadelphia, y'all. That's where the disease took me. Like, I couldn't stop. So somebody said, listen, I had some friends, some people in Connecticut. They said, listen, send her dumb behind down here with us, right?
Right.
So I took a trip and I went to New Haven, Connecticut, and some people, they scooped me up and they showed me how to live without drugs and alcohol. What a blessing that was.
Shout out to the Connecticut family.
Connecticut, listen to me.
Shout out to our Connecticut family.
They saved my life. You hear me? And think this, it was a stranger. Somebody that I knew was sharing about me somewhere, and this woman said, send her to me. Wow. I didn't know that lady from Holding Head. And I took a chance. My people put me on a train.
Took a village.
I had never even been on a train. I'm used to being in cars, and I was scared to death. I had never been to Connecticut. They put me on a train, and they said, see ya. Wouldn't want to be you. And I got on that train, and I got off in New Haven, Connecticut.
That was the best
decision.
And some people
picked me up from that train station, and they taught me how to live.
Amen.
But for them and the grace of God, here I sit today with come the 21st of September, I'll be 19 years clean.
Woo! Okay?
Because I decided to have what we like to call a relapse. So I got clean, had 10 years.
She fell off the wagon,
listen. I took a little sabbatical. I said, let me just check it out, make sure, But you know what? I'm laughing about it now, but it was sad.
Oh, wow.
Because not only was I affected, this is my child. I took from her. I have a son. I took from him. Oh, God. And my poor mother. My mother was so affected. I'm going to tell this little story. And I remember one day I was in the grips of the disease, and I was staying at my mom's house, and my mom said, listen, when I do liquor and I get tired, I just put it down. She said, let me show you. I just put, my
Right.
poor mother tried to show me how.
How
Bless
not
her
to be an
heart.
addict.
May she rest in heavenly peace. And she sat me down at the table because she drank Chivas Regal, top shelf.
Grandma?
My mom was top shelf. Listen,
She lying on you, Grandma.
listen to me.
That Christian woman,
no,
I
you know
didn't
what?
know
You
her
know
to
what?
drink no
Because
liquor.
she was not an alcoholic. That's the hit. So that's why
Right.
you didn't know.
Yep.
Because she knew how to be sociable.
Mhm.
She knew how to take her Chivas and put that whole bottle back in after she poured one shot, drank it, and walked away. And she tried to teach me how to do that. May she rest in heavenly peace. Because
Well,
I couldn't do that either.
I still can.
I couldn't do that either. And you know, it's just like so sad, people, how your whole family is affected.
Yeah.
Not only did the disease take everything that was worth anything to me away from me, people, it took my family away from what they were trying to do. They couldn't even rest in peace. Like my mom couldn't sleep at night. And I wasn't the only one in the family who suffered with this disease. So she had her 3 youngest children running around the streets of Philadelphia.
Y'all wasn't allowed in her house.
Man, no, one of us wasn't allowed. She didn't put the girls out.
No, I'm talking about when y'all was active.
Oh no,
Y'all were not allowed to come near. And Grandma told me, like,
not
you
when we was
better not
active.
open the door, and I don't care that that's your mother. That was the hardest thing as a kid to have to respect. But I feared my grandmother, so I wouldn't dare disrespect her. But to not open the door for my mom, and she wasn't playing. She had a 2x4 behind the door.
Yeah, she was serious.
She would crack you upside your head. Try her if you wanted to.
She was serious. She was 4'11", and she was a giant.
She
You
was
hear
a
what I'm
giant.
telling you? She raised 8 children. I was the 7th of 8.
And how many siblings did she have?
And she had 16 or 17 siblings.
I come from a
Our
big family.
family is humongous.
And then my grandfather, how many
He
siblings
had
did he have?
18 siblings. Okay, so it was a whole bunch of us with
Mhm.
all kinds of experience and all kinds of good stuff going on. And my choice was to be a dope fiend. You know what I'm saying? But Lord, that was then. This is
now, and you're fabulous. So let's get up off of that. That was a little, you know.
But listen to me. I need to not ever forget that.
Thank you.
See, I laugh about it now, and I can smile today because I've been blessed. I've been removed from that disease. Right. But listen to me. At any given moment, all it will take is for me to do what I did the first time I forgot and think that I could go sit at somebody's bar and have a social sip.
Right.
To think that I could say, well, that marijuana smells mighty good. Let me just take a puff.
Right.
Okay? And listen, it's not going to, this is how I help myself. If you're allergic to something, are you going to use it?
No.
If you're allergic to Vaseline, are you going to put it on your body and break out in the most ugly rash you ever seen? Well, I'm allergic.
You allergic to drugs?
To drugs.
I know that's right.
And if I put it in my body, I'm going to break out, and you people will not want to see what I turn into.
Monster.
Listen to me.
A whole monster.
I look out on the streets of Philadelphia today, and I'm giving like a shout out to the people who might still be using. Because listen, we don't know why you're using.
Right.
All of us pick up drugs for different reasons. Some of them may even sound legit. But guess who you hurting, boo? Yourself. Now, you might be affecting some other people along your journey, but the most harm will be done to you. I should have been up there with, give me a famous designer.
We all should be famous.
Give me a famous designer.
Anna Wintour, Chanel.
Listen.
Donatella Versace.
11 years
I'm
old.
still trying to get her to make my clothes.
I was taught.
I feel like I shouldn't have to wear department store stuff.
Listen to me. I was taught.
I want to wear custom stuff.
How to sew when I was 11. By my people. I had a brother that was a tailor, and I had 2 sisters that could sew. Back then they worked in factories, but they knew how to sew. And they taught me at the age of 11, I was making my own clothes in elementary school. People be so mad. Where you get that from? I made it last night.
It's becoming a lost trade, I feel like. I think kids need to learn and get back to and being excited about home economics and sewing and crafts and wood shop and any different trade, like,
I don't even know that
and
they do it in
boys,
school
I don't even
anymore.
think boys, like, if you're a masculine boy, they think that sewing is not for masculine men.
They
My
think
uncle
it's a
was not
girl
gay.
thing. My brother
He was a man's man, and he knew how to sew.
he was the brother of 5 girls, and he had 2 brothers. And he was the only boy in our family that could sew, and the others that could sew were 4 of the girls, right? And guess who was the best?
You, of course.
My brother.
Oh,
No.
oh, Uncle Anthony.
Oh, Uncle Anthony was all that. No, Uncle Anthony was a
What?
tailor. I am a
Shout out to
seamstress.
Nikki Roberts.
I am a seamstress. I will not take anything from my brother. When I get good as him, I will take the title. But my brother was the best.
Well, he's smiling down at heaven that you were getting back behind that machine.
He was the best. You understand? And back then, you know, it was something that people did. Like, you know, I tailored my mother's clothes. My mom was 4'11" with a short leg and a long leg. So one pants leg had to be hem.
Is that why she walked like that? Oh, okay.
One pants leg had to be hem shorter than the other pants leg. Wasn't no tailor going to do her stuff. She said, I got the tailors right here in my house. You think I'm going to pay somebody? Girl, if you don't get down here and fix these pants.
Exactly.
So I was fixing my mom's clothes at a very young age. And what a blessing that was.
Yeah.
Because she taught me to take this trade. She said to me, my mother, she said, how much I owe you? I said, Mom, get out of here. She said, let me tell you something. That is a trade that you will never be broke. As long as you had that needle in your hand.
All right now.
She said, if I had to take this down the street to the cleaners, I had to pay them. Why wouldn't I pay you?
Right.
That's when I learned the value of the things that I have been blessed to be able to do. Till this day, I have 3 sewing machines in my dining room. Like I have traveled and been to some places where I lost everything. But let me tell you what I didn't lose. My sewing machines.
Nope, she still got that green machine.
Baby, I got a power machine. I have 3, tabletop machines. They all work. And I am just so blessed because that is a trade that I have been able to carry with me no matter where I go along my journey. I have a great niece who called me up just maybe a couple months ago, and she said, Aunt Naj, can you teach me how to sew? I'm still waiting for her to get there.
Yeah, still waiting on you,
C Murder. That's all right, but C
Murder.
Listen, she asked me, so she's got a willingness.
She has a natural talent.
A passion for fashion, this young lady. She's a bad little young girl. She ain't but about, 18?
18.
But she's fierce. She is fierce, and I know she's going to learn how to sew, and her Aunt Najee's going to put that needle and thread in her hand, and we about to go somewhere. Me and
Shout out to CC. She just celebrated her 18th birthday, I believe. Happy birthday, niece.
Yes.
I did try to call you, and I don't think you answered. I hope I have the right number, but I do love you, ugly self.
As a people, we have been so blessed. We have so many different passions, and we're afraid to, like, if you see somebody, like with a different shade of skin like me, and they were as talented as me, like their last name is on the books. Their tag is in your clothes. Like, why? What happened? Right. I missed the boat somewhere. But what I'm grateful to be able to say today is that those who come behind me, you don't have to miss the boat. You don't have to go through any of the things that I went through to make that detour. I'm telling you, young people, old people, people in between, if you stuck on some type of substance, do yourself a favor, go get you some help, and relieve yourself from that prison of active addiction. Yep. I can't say it enough. It's just a prison for folks that are not behind bars. They will do anything and feed us anything to make sure that we don't go higher.
Absolutely.
You understand? Absolutely. And I am just blessed that my family, my older sister, she's 80 years old, and I never forget when I was stuck in that crack house and she came knocking on the door. And she said, Stephen died. My son's name is Stephen. I was like, Stephen died. I was like freaking out. So I opened the door and she said, your cousin, Stephen. I was like, girl, you tricked me. You tricked me. She was trying to get me out. She would use anything to get me out of that house. And I give her the utmost respect today. She is 80 years old, about
Shout
to
out
be
to Aunt Ronnie.
81. That she had everything she had in her, and she loved me enough to knock on that door and do whatever she had to do to pull me out of there. Ever since that day, I have been the best person that I could be.
Amen.
And I am so grateful. Like people, it's not good for you. Please, if you don't hear anything else that I say today, know this: no matter how high you go, it's only gonna bring you low. Trust me when I tell you.
That's a t-shirt right there.
No matter how high.
She be rapping on the low, y'all. She swears she a rapper.
It's only going to take you low.
There you go.
Yes. If you don't remember nothing else, please remember that. I love you guys.
Make sure you guys are chatting with us. You can chat with us.
Yes.
If you have something you want to contribute to this conversation, if you want to comment on what my mom is saying. Thank you, everybody who's commenting on Instagram. I see your comments. We love you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your input. Now, I also want to talk about sexuality, right? This is something that was also a major topic for me as a kid growing up. And I think it's different now. I'm a little jealous because I feel like the Rainbow Coalition, as I like to call my rainbow family, is a lot more accepted now. Not to say that there's still not a discriminated against, which I do believe that, you know, people are in that community. However, back when I was growing up, it wasn't as accepted. And I just want to talk to you about that, Mom. Like, now that we have this new day and age and people have these pronouns, right? Have you been hearing this? She, her, he, him, they, them. That's what people are going by now. Pronouns.
Who is that? Us?
Everyone. Well, yes.
Who is that?
So now, like, when you go to certain places, like even like job, different stuff, people ask you, well, what do you go by? She, her, him. Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Shim.
Because because there's so many trans people now.
Okay.
And you know, now you have to be specific. You have to say, just because I look like a woman doesn't mean that I identify as one.
Wow.
That's the new thing that's going on out here now.
That's
pretty
major.
much.
That's major.
Yeah.
I'm an old lesbian, just so y'all know. An old lesbian, okay? And listen, this is serious because I knew that I liked girls in the first grade. Like, I was in love with my teacher in the first grade. And I carried this thing for
Shout out.
I carried this thing for like many, many years, you know, trying not to be gay. And I had plenty of gay folk in my family.
Right.
I was not trying to be like them. I was trying to be, you know, the straight and narrow. I did everything I possibly could until it just didn't work anymore. It just never, you know, like I got married. I thought that would take it away. Well, I thought I was married. I was about to say, I find out. Dude said we wasn't that married. Well, good, because I was trying to get a divorce, but anyhow, I ain't got to do that. So anyway, you know, that's how naive you can be when you have things interfering with what you're supposed to be doing for yourself, and you put your hands in the life of a man or a woman or somebody that you think you can trust with your everything. I trusted my life with this dude, and he told me listen to me. Like, you know, that's some real, we laugh about it today, but that was really like me not being aware of what was really going on.
Well,
in
it was
my
a lot. Well, you were still getting high back then, right?
My own personal, I was a little, I hadn't started yet when he
when y'all got married?
That foolishness. We wasn't married, girl, don't even say that.
I mean, well, you know.
We ain't even gonna say that no more.
When you jumped the broom?
But you know what? And the blessing is that I never had to get the divorce, because I was ready. I was getting ready to pay some money. I called the brother up and I was like, listen, I'm getting ready to get this thing taken care of. And he said, don't even stress yourself. We wasn't never married. And even though I was trying to get ready to get this divorce, I was offended.
Right.
I was hurt. I was like,
I mean, you were bamboozled all these years.
What you trying to say? I'm dumb? You know, like, I was really hurt by that.
Yeah.
That, you know, and I say that, and I share these things with you guys to let you know that don't think you know somebody so well that they won't pull the wool over your eyes.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Always, go deeper. Because, like, I had just put my life in the hands of this brother, and, like, I trusted him. He was a bit older than me, and my sister was always leery, about the whole relationship. But don't nobody know nothing about nothing when you call yourself in love.
Right.
I was in love with his lifestyle. He was a hustler, and not like that. He was a big time hustler. He didn't have to do the dirty work. And I was attracted to that foolishness. And that's what it was. Like, we have to be, mindful to educate our children about the things that can pull you outside of where you should be going.
Absolutely.
I got some teenage granddaughters and grandnieces, and they are fabulous, and they are geniuses, and they're getting honors and all kinds of stuff. And then they think they want to drink liquor. We ain't doing that, y'all. So then I got to tell you my story.
People commenting on you.
I have got to tell you my story. I tell these babies, this is what we're not going to do.
Absolutely.
Now, they're going to have their experiences. Now, we know, listen, they got to go to the prom. They got to do all that. They got to have a couple drinks. Yeah, we can do all that. But I need to let them know that they have a gene inside of them that can make them lose everything that God intended them to be. I will not sit back, be still, and be quiet and not educate my babies about the story that I had to live. Because I should not be sitting here. I should be somewhere designing somebody, Diana Ross.
But it ain't too late.
But it's all good. I'm relaxing right now. I'm 67 years old.
I need some custom pieces.
I'm not trying to work that hard. I might make her stuff, but I don't need no pressure.
Right.
God He has blessed me to be able to make it this far, and all I want to do right now is enjoy my children, enjoy my grandchildren. Be still if I want to. I don't want nobody call me up talking about, did you finish my dress? Girl, if you don't leave me alone.
Right.
I'm taking a nap, okay?
Shout out to Lawrence for commenting. I appreciate you. Thank you.
The blessing is somebody else is going to pick up that needle, that thread, not that ugly needle, the sewing needle.
The sewing needle.
Pick that sewing needle up, and they're going to become somebody just because they heard me today. Because whatever you're doing in secret, let it go. Let it go.
Right.
And bring out the best in you. Do what you know how to do. Learn a skill. Do something for yourself. If you're passionate about something, go for it. You can do it.
Right. So what do you identify as, Mom?
A lesbian.
A lesbian? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, as far as now, do you see yourself wanting to be in a relationship?
At this time of my life, absolutely not.
No.
And if somebody out there who heard it that's fabulous, fine, set up, rich, and all that, and you're a lesbian, I could think about it.
She want a little sugar mama.
We don't want to lose nothing here.
She want sugar mama.
No, you know what? Because and I think it's just, probably straight people feel the same way. Once you get a certain age and your life is good, and my thing is, I listen, straight up, I don't want to answer to nobody.
Right.
I'm independent. I don't feel like nobody telling me when I can come, when I can go. Just last week, I was in Alabama all week long. We messed around on the way back. We were supposed to be coming straight back, but we decided to stop in Maryland and visit some more family. And I didn't have to call nobody and say, well, babe, I'm not coming. And for her to say, well, why you ain't coming home? No, I'm past that.
Right.
I'm so past that. I'm so into me. I have to say, I don't know how that might sound to you, but I am passionately in love with myself, and I don't need anybody. I used to think I needed somebody to make me whole, but my God made me whole all by myself when he delivered me into this world. I was a whole person, and I am still a whole person, even better than the little baby that was born. So, no, I don't need to have a partner. If something should come up, I ain't dead set against it, but for right now, I'm good.
Why do you rock this bald head?
Well, I think it's gorgeous. What you think?
I mean, you're gorgeous regardless. So I've seen you in many different hairstyles.
Well, here's the thing. When I first started wearing the bald head, it was way back in the 80s before people were doing it. What's the black lady's
Grace
name?
Jones.
Grace.
Yes.
It was Grace. I was like,
you thought you were Grace. You were Grace and Diana Ross.
Grace. I just wanted to be like Grace. I've always not wanted to look like other people. A lot of people got bald heads now. It's a trend now. People
Right.
do it. And then as I got older, I started to actually lose my hair right
Okay.
in the top of my head.
Was it alopecia?
Yes.
Okay.
And so therefore, I'm good. I'm not going to try to like do the comb over.
Right. Well, now, how do you feel about that whole Jada Pinkett alopecia thing when Chris Rock said what he said? Like, do you think that was like
I think
taken out of context?
I
Like,
absolutely think that it was taken out. I don't think Chris really meant to hurt Jada. I think that he didn't understand the severity of how her losing her hair made her feel. And I believe that had he known that, he would have never made that joke.
right, right.
And I can't take nothing away from Will, because that's his wife, and you're gonna want to defend and protect and do anything that you feel like you need to do for your wife. But my own personal opinion is he kind of, went a little overboard that day. Since then he has apologized, and I'm grateful that, these brothers, they too big. They are ours. They are our role models. They are our entertainers. Like, we don't need to lose them to one another, to some, mishap. That's how I feel about that. I'm glad that Will was able to, get it together and apologize and do whatever he needs to do so that him and Chris don't have to be like enemies. That's just too much for me.
Now, I like to always talk about mental health on here. And that is something that always hits home for us, right? Mental health, mental illness. Everybody has mental health. So let me just backtrack and clarify that. Everybody has mental health.
Everybody.
So I don't want you guys to think that mental health only applies to those who have mental illness. That is not true. Everyone has mental health. How's your mental health? Have you checked in with your emotions, your mind, and yourself just to see how you feel, like right in this moment right now? Do you do that? So I always tell people that the reason why I do yoga is because of my mental health first. And I've been an advocate for trying to just get more people on the mat, especially brown faces on the mat, because we suffer from a lot of trauma.
Yes.
And those traumas show up in us in different ways, whether it's depression, self-sabotage, anxiety, bipolar, whatever, you know what I mean? All these different mental illnesses are connected in some way to the stresses and the traumas and the anxieties and the things that we live with and we deal with, right?
Yes.
Can you identify with this? Do you want to talk to the people about how your mental health or your, like, shed a little light on that?
I'm sitting here saying, Portia, now she sure had to deal with a lot. Her mother got everything. Listen,
I tell people, it wasn't easy.
I live with,
but it builds character.
I live with depression. Yes, I do. And, your mental health is so important. I have a son that's bipolar.
And schizophrenic.
And so, that was a long, he's like 37 now, and, he still hasn't grasped the fact that there are certain things he needs to do for himself in order to have a quote unquote normal life,
right.
And so he knows what to do for himself, but the choice is his. So sometimes he wants to just be normal and not take his medication, and every time it takes him someplace where, I just don't
somewhere
wanna,
dark.
I just don't want to deal with it. So it mental health, people, is something that we all have some degree of mental illness, if you will. People don't like that word illness, but your mental health is just not perfect. Just like your body is, there's something going on with your body. People don't have a problem telling you they have they overweight. They don't have a problem telling you they have cancer, or they might have some kind of skin disease.
Right.
But you're not going to hear people openly say, well, my mental health is being challenged right now. And so, like, what should I do about it? We need to be able to recognize when that's not the normal you.
Right.
When my daughter calls me up and I've been in the bed for 5 days straight, she comes right over
Mhm.
because she knows that that's not my normal. Even though I may not leave the house, I need to get up
Right.
because depression can eat me alive. You
Mhm.
understand? And so, we have to be able to talk about these things openly in order that we might be able to help the next generation that's coming through. Because I already know that my grandchildren have it.
Mhm.
I already know that my daughter has it. But
Mhm.
here's the hit: you don't have to suffer from it.
That's right.
Because when you embrace whoever you are, when you educate yourself about whatever it is that you're living with, when you carry it to the professionals and say, hey, listen, this has been my experience. What is this? And he says, you have depression. Well, how can you help me? That's what we
Mhm.
need to do, because if you look at me, you're not going to say, oh, that's a depressed lady right there. I don't think so.
Right. Right. Right.
Because today I live with depression, but depression doesn't have its old ugly hands wrapped around me to the point where I can't live a full and productive life.
Right.
No more. It has at some point when I was uneducated and not willing to call a spade a spade. It
Mm.
is what it is. It's mental
Do
health.
you know what some of your triggers are, and aside from the triggers, what does your anxiety or your depression look like? How would someone be able to identify, like me, for instance, when I get anxious, I get nauseous, lightheaded. Um, we both experience the itchiness. Hers is more severe than mine. Um, I feel like that makes us look transparent and relatable, and makes people feel like they're not alone, right? Because sometimes people don't even know what their
My,
depression or their anxiety or the triggers, or when you're in that state.
yeah. My biggest thing is isolation.
Mm.
Like, I'm not like a very sociable person. I really do enjoy my own company, like when I'm well, like really when I'm well.
Hmm.
But there's a difference between my own company when I'm well and my company when I'm depressed.
Right.
I don't enjoy depression.
Mm.
So and I also like to lay down and be still. If I don't want to get up, I ain't getting up today. But it's not always depression.
Right.
And so you have to know the difference. If I'm in the bed and I'm depressed, I'm not going to get up to eat. I'm not going to get up to take a bath. I'm probably not going to get dressed for a while.
Mm.
And if I'm responsible for anybody else, they can forget it, because I'm just not going to do it. I just can't do anything. When depression gets its grips in me,
Mm.
I'm non-functional.
Hmm.
I,
And it's
oh,
crazy
it's
because I feel
horrible.
like as a child, when you watch your parents go through these things, you think that that's the norm, that that's how you should act when things don't go your way or when life gives you lemons. And for a long time, I did those same things. Just stayed in my room, shut my kids out, stayed in my room. My whole house would fall apart. That's how I could tell when I was depressed. I would shut my friends out. Shout out to my girlfriend, Rami. I love her to death because I have a habit of doing that. I isolate in other ways. I can't always isolate completely because I have a family.
Right.
I have a husband, I have kids,
That's the difference between me and you. I was alone, so I could do all that
Right. Me,
easily.
I'll just stop answering my phone. I'll stay in the house. And I'm a very social person. So if I'm not talking, something's wrong. Something's really wrong.
Something's wrong.
Because we're like night and day, right? So I had to yoga. People, I'm telling you, stop thinking that yoga is a religion. Stop thinking that it is some type of witchcraft. It is a lifesaver. It has saved my life.
Yes.
I'm
yes,
telling you.
yes.
That's why I have been practicing yoga for 10 years and ongoing. I'm never going to stop.
Right.
I'm going to do this forever.
Well, straight up, I always thought yoga was those other people's exercise.
I did too.
Like it wasn't for us. It wasn't something that we were brought up to talk about, learn about, understand. So that was for those other people. That was their way of exercising.
Nope.
Until my daughter got into it, and I love it. I love what it has done for her first and foremost. And then she's able to educate us, and so we now know what we can do for ourselves by just sitting still and being quiet and meditating. A lot of us, when we get older, it's not a whole lot of physical stuff that we can be able to do. But when you get into the yoga, it's different. It's different. Your body.
It's for every age,
Listen,
every ability. I have people that take my class. Shout out to Miss Dorothy.
Yes.
I love you, Miss Dorothy.
It's awesome.
I hope you see this on Facebook. She is going to be 80 years old,
Nice.
people. She's on my page. She is on my website. I call her Mrs. Button. I promise you she's aging backwards. She gets on the yoga mat. She never complains. She bends and twists her body in any direction that I guide her in.
Awesome.
And I'm telling you,
awesome.
people that are my age or younger, don't wait until you get diagnosed with something and now all of a sudden you want to call me, you want to be, no. You have to be proactive about your mind and your body now.
Yes.
Diseases and all those things, they stem from stress.
Yep.
Cancers, all of those things feed off of
Fibromyalgia.
stress. Oh yeah, let's talk about that. Like how that was a journey, trying to get your diagnosis from that. And I'm pretty sure to all the people who are suffering with that horrible, horrible disorder. Fibromyalgia is a terrible, terrible nerve disorder for those who are not aware. And it's hard to diagnose, hard to identify. It makes the people who are going through it feel like they're going crazy because you have all this pain in your body that no one can see. You look like you're fine and you're not. I'm telling her story because I lived through it with her, but I still will never know what that feels like to live in her body. So for those of people who do suffer from fibromyalgia, share your story, share your experience. So
it's not a fun thing to have to deal with. You have to learn how to eat, because like sugar, and I love sweet stuff. So I have to say to myself now, are you willing to suffer today? Because if you want to have that cake, your body is.
That's like what you said earlier. If you're allergic to something,
right? Why would you want to do that?
Why are you gonna put that sugar in your body and your body is allergic to that sugar?
And fibromyalgia it was very hard for them to diagnose it for me because what happens is it comes and it goes. So every time I would go to the doctor, it seemed like nothing was going on. And it's just one of the most strange illnesses to have to try to get diagnosed. But they're far better now than they were when I first, because I've had it for some years now and didn't know what it was for a long time. And then finally I was able to find somebody that could say, hey, this is what it is that you have. And so I have to take medication for myself to be able to, be as fabulous as I am today and be able to get up and walk around. And, every now and then I have these bouts. They knock me off my feet. And it's really not a whole lot you can do about it. The last bout that I have, and I'm a person that, I don't do drugs or anything like that, but I had to reach out to some people who felt like, maybe a little bit of this herb might help you
medical marijuana
feel better.
Holistic.
I had to call the people and, find out where to get the medical marijuana, and all that kind of good stuff. And so, and I didn't get strung out. And it helped. And it's over. So it can be helpful for some, and for others they may not be able to take that route. But I'm grateful that I have such an educated child here. Like she knows so much about a lot of things, and a lot of her education was self-induced. Like she just put herself out there in the world and she grabbed it and she said, listen, I need to educate myself about this. I need to educate myself. She has a brother with mental illness, and I swear don't nobody deal with him better than her. I'll be like, Chanel, you better get your brother, because listen.
I don't know what it is, y'all, but crazy just recognizes crazy.
I guess.
Because it's not just my brother. It could be the craziest person on the street, y'all. They always want to talk to me. And I let them.
Absolutely.
Because I love the crazy people. Listen, I tell people all the time, mental illness did not skip me. I just learned how to cope and how to deal and how to manage my mental health. That's the difference. My brother hasn't figured that out yet. And the funny thing about it is, when I was all excited when I first got my certification, and I called my brother up, yo, bro, you gonna do some virtual yoga sessions? Because he lives in Connecticut. He said, man, I ain't doing that stuff. They make me do that when they 302 me. Well, what the you think? So you just want to be crazy on purpose. This is why I want you to do it. So you won't be crazy. So that right there is what let me know that, yep, I'm on to something. Because my crazy brother knows that it works for him when he needs it. Yep. It works for him. And they make him do it when he has to go to the psych hospital. Yeah. So listen, people, it's about living well. Yes. And people always say to me, and I like, you're aging backwards, like you're losing weight, your face, your skin. I'm not wearing stress on my face. Don't think that stress ain't going on. I am stressed out. Promise you. Real life. I got real shit going on. Excuse my French. See, I can't even feel comfortable cursing because my mom's here. I'm that respectful, but it's still my podcast. So I could curse a little bit. That's a blessing. But I got real stuff going on in my life, people. Yeah. But yoga taught me how to cope. I still cry. I get sad. I feel myself get depressed. The difference is I don't settle into that depression. Right. I don't get stuck into it. I don't wallow in it. Yoga has taught me how to just identify my emotions and address them. Just deal with them head on. This is what I'm feeling. This is how I'm feeling inside, physically, whatever. And this is what I want to keep encouraging you guys to learn more about it. Call me. Share in a class with me, because everybody doesn't teach the way that I teach. So you might not have a good yoga experience if you go somewhere else that doesn't practice mindfulness. Right. See, there's a difference. Some people just teach yoga, just the poses. They don't really do a lot of breath work. They don't really focus on the mind. They just focus on the exercise, the yoga portion of it. Not me. You can come to my class and literally just meditate the whole time. You don't have to move if you don't want to. As long as after my class you feel better when it's over here. I have somebody that comes to my class, that comes to the Y every Tuesday and Thursday morning. He reminds me of my brother. I can identify people with mental illness right up front. You don't even have to say anything out of your mouth. We like to say mental health issues. Yep. I can identify them. You can just look me in the eye and I can tell that that's a schizophrenic stare by the way you're looking at me. Or, right. Like I just have that connection, right? And he the first time he came to my class, I was a little leery because he was a bit of a distraction. He couldn't sit still. Mm-hmm. He had a couple little outbursts. When I tell you, he's such a pleasure to have in my class. I know that's right. And he is the person that I want. He's he's the type of people that I'm trying to get, and I promise you, he's getting everything from it that I'm trying to give him. Yes. And he's so rough. He reminds me of DMX. He comes, he goes, "Namaste, yo." I don't know your name, but I'm gonna get your name. "Namaste, yo." I love him, and now everybody in that class embraces him. Yes. Because he needs it. He likes it. He wants it. He wants what I have to bring to the table. And in talking to him, he's very intelligent. That's the funny thing too. I think people prejudge people. Yes. Because if you think that person is a little different, a little off, or a little crazy, you just automatically want to shun that person out. But if you take the time to talk to that person that makes you feel a little uncomfortable. Yes. You'll be pleasantly surprised what they have to say, what they have to offer, what they know, how smart they are. Brilliant. My brother is the prime example of that. Brilliant. He's a freaking genius, but his mind is in the way. There's too many voices in his head. There's too many distractions. Yoga teaches you that. People, if you want to learn how to calm your mind, call me, inbox me. I have family members, and I appreciate my cousins who keep reaching out. They keep wanting to take a class. We are going to catch up with each other. I promise you, because I feel your energy. Yeah. And I know that that's the reason why you guys are reaching out and wanting to take a yoga class, because it's in your mind. We're stressed. Mm-hmm. We're dealing with a lot. Yes. We lost family members. Death is never easy. People are continuing to die all around us. And we have to be in touch with the fact that the the violence in our city, that affects your mental health in itself.
It's scary.
When you pick up, your phone or you watch the news and you hear about all these kids getting shot and you hear the gunshots outside your window, like we're living in fear.
Want to go outside, like you.
Yeah.
If
you're living in fear unintentionally.
Me, that's retired, and there's really no reason that I have to go out but to food shop and but to just say let me go for a walk, I'd rather not, because you just don't know what you're going to walk into, and that's a sad way to view the world.
It is.
I can't go outside and take a walk,
right,
without being afraid in my own neighborhood.
It's crazy. Pray for our city. Pray for every city. Every city is going through some stuff. Pray for the city of Philadelphia, and I hope that we can combat this gun violence and help and save our youth.
Yes.
That is my mission. That is my purpose. That is my proclamation to all my villagers out there.
Gems that are worth saving.
Save our youth, y'all.
Please.
Save our youth. So we only have a couple minutes left, Mom, but I want the world to know. How can they find you? What do you do? What can you make them? What is your business is? What are you doing as an entrepreneur? How can they find you?
I'm the bow tie lady for all you bow tie wearing men and women. I make women bow ties, ladies. You will want to see my girl bow ties. I'm trying to tell you. So I specialize in bow ties. I know how to, make pretty much anything that you could wear. But like I said, my specialty is bow ties, and I love doing that. I also make these boxes, and they're called prayer boxes.
Mm-hmm.
So the concept of the prayer box is, how they say, give it to God and leave it with God.
Mm-hmm.
Well, with my prayer box, they're decorated, pretty shiny, nice little stuff on the boxes. And what happens is you put your thing in the box and you leave it in the box. The same way you give it to God and you leave it with God. So you put it in the prayer box, you leave it in the prayer box, and you trust God with it. And that's what we do in our lives today. We trust God. And I thank you so much for allowing me to share this time.
She's so dope, y'all. You see why I'm dope? I'm dope by default, y'all. And I don't mind saying it.
You gotta love her.
Dope by default, y'all. All right?
That's because God has been good to us.
Yes, listen.
Truly, I can't say enough about how good God is. I'm just saying. Or whatever you choose to call him. The power, the thing, I don't care what you call it. It's that super strength that we get from somewhere that doesn't look like me and you. So if you have that, hold on to it and just allow yourself to be and become your best self. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, thank you, Renee, a.k.a. Najla, a.k.a. Mom, a.k.a. Grandma, a.k.a.
That's my favorite title, Grandma.
Aunt Naj, bow tie lady. You can find her on Instagram, Sarah Brand, SarahBrand 365 on Instagram.
Named after my mother, Sarah Brand bow tie.
Or Renee Roberts. That it is named after my grandmother, Sarah. May you rest in peace, you beautiful soul. And Sarah stands for what?
Simply altered, remixed, and handcrafted. Because my mom said you should be working for yourself.
Boom. So you want your custom bow ties. Also with that Sarah Brand, like my mom said, there's other articles of clothing that we do. We paint denim jackets, pocketbooks. We are crafters. We are crafty. We are designers. We are entrepreneurs, and we do everything that we want to do as far as art is concerned. Also, if you want to get in touch with me, go on my website, nellyyogafitness.com, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Watch my podcast. Go on glockaware.com. You can search the episodes. I can also share the links with you. If you want to advertise your business, people, hit me up. It doesn't cost much. Networking and promoting yourself is priceless. So if you want me to shout your business out on the air like I just did with Sarah Brand, like I just did with myself, and shout out to Brianna's Bar and Cabaret. You want to come out and be grown from 9 to 2? Meet me there tonight. $10 cover charge, ladies in free before 10. Come out, get grown, good drinks, good food. Brianna's Bar and Cabaret, 6029 Torresdale Avenue. Also, pay for your marketing. I can air you on my podcast live, y'all, live. People all around whatever who are following me are going to hear your business. That's priceless marketing. Come on now, get with it. All right. So I appreciate all my villagers for tuning in today. It was always a pleasure and an honor to share in this discussion with you. I hope that my mom fed some light and some energy into you people. I hope that somebody got something out of this conversation. And if anything comes out of it, if we save one life today, then we did our job. I am blessed, favored, honored. The light in me honors and respects the light in each of you, y'all. Namaste.